All right, finally, we are back on the 50B. The time just didn't present itself. I've always been busy at other stuff, and there's no point in trying to do a job when you haven't got time to be at it. So I waited till the time was right. Well, I have no other choice because we were going to be at silage, and I need to get in here, clearing this all up. So I need to move this out of the way. Pushing up grass between the two, well, just isn't practical. We're going to just tear into this and get straight at it and get it put back together again. But I need to explain beforehand what we're actually doing. So if you remember in the last one, you can go back and watch that last video. You remember that we took this all apart and we found out that our problem, if we come down here, with our slew motor was worse than we originally thought. So our slew motor was drifting quite a bit, but we also noticed when we took it apart that there was a toot here. One of these cogs was broken. You can see it there. So there's no real fixing that. This guy was very badly bent. As you can see here, you can see why it's rusty here, and that's because someone probably heated it and tried to batter it back straight again. But that there was bent way out, which meant that the pin that was down here at the very bottom, this is the other one, that pin was broken. So it was really just literally hanging on by a thread. It was an essential thing to take apart. It was one of the biggest issues we have with this machine of getting it working again. So we have a solution, and the solution isn't what I originally thought we were going to do. So quick trip to John Connaughty's, and by the way, they are the sponsors of today's video because they helped us an awful lot to find and source these bits and pieces, which can be quite hard to get. So they had a replacement for this originally. That's a replacement for the bent one. And this guy here is the lower bracket, which was also broken. The lower bracket has been welded, but it's welded on both sides, and it's a weak point on these anyway. There's also a lot of wear on this. On these pins, there's no bush on that side at all. And the lower bearing was quite loose too. They suggested we have a complete unit that you won't have to touch, Adrian. Just literally put it back on the digger and we know it's a good one. It's sitting a while, but when it came off, it was working fine. You shouldn't have to do anything to it, bearings or anything. It should just pop on and work. Just looking it over here, it's a bit rusty, don't worry. It's just because it's been sitting here for the past 9 months nearly. But the bushes look really good, look like there's very little wear in them. I have a pin here that they get it torn down in a local engineering place, Carol's Engineering. Any of you guys watch the Contractors of Ireland, then that there fits lovely in there and there's no movement. This is the frame, it has no welding on it, but I am going to take the frame off. I am going to strip it down, leave this here and use our original one because rams are already fixed to this one and it has actually been welded into place. This is something I'm going to fix in time, but for now, to get it finished and up and running for silage time, I'm not going to start because that's a job on its own. We may have to take these rams off and we may have to get them repacked. I have a feeling that's the reason why it was welded solid in one place, just to stop it sliding back and forth. Good thing I did notice was the grease nipples are good and clean. They look like they've been replaced recently, so that's a sign that someone was greasing it. Lower bearing here, I'm going to take this cap off because there's only 2 bolts left on it, and I want to have a look because I do have a bearing for this lower section here, but they tell me not, and there really is no movement in it. So I'm going to take it off and have a quick look anyway, just to visually see what it's like. So you're getting the kind of just the thing, so without talking anymore, let's tear into this. To give everything a good soakage, a little penetrating fluid. I'm just going to lift this cap off here, see what this bearing looks like. Come on. No, it's got grease in it. Very hard to tell. I'm just going to clean this out completely here. I'm going to put fresh grease, fill it full of grease before we put it back in again. I do see what might be an issue is that these threads on both sides here look like the threads have been spun out. Alright, so this is all fairly full of grease here now. We'll slap that on. Alright, so we're going to rob Paul the pip heater. A couple of these bolts are short. Alright, so that's that done. So the next thing we need to do is we need to start loosening these bolts here. Now the last time I had a bit of trouble trying to get these off because we want to lift this completely off this frame. This could be fun. It loosens. Right, so we have all the bolts bar one. That one. The reason why I can't get it out is it's turning alright, but the whole thing is turning. And the only way I can get at that is to lift this up in the air. And then I can hold it on the back just to loosen it off. And then otherwise than that, it should come apart because everything else, as far as I know, is loosened. There. Sorry, the open end. Ah yeah, it's already loose. That makes my life a lot easier. There we have it. Alright, so a wee bit of John Travolta on there. Alright, so what I've done here, and don't worry, this is a good strong strap. That there can lift 10 times the amount of weight that's on that. It's not overly heavy. But what I've done here is I've ratchet strapped this to this because these can separate and I don't want them separating because that's designed to pull up with that. But I need to put the whole lot together. The brackets can only go on when they're all together. Otherwise I'd have to completely strip this slew motor and lift it off just like I done with the old one. That takes a lot of time. I'll do it if I have to, but if this works it will save me a few hours of work. So what I want to do is just basically turn it around now. Should be straightforward. I'm not going to be standing on the loader, by the way. The loader is not above my head, no way or other, and I'm just going to slide it on here, drop a few bolts on just to hold it on. Alright, so here we have our longer bolt that comes into the back. A little bit awkward doing that. There it is. It's always nice when you start to see all the bolts that have been on the ground and everything starting to disappear. You know, you're making some sort of ground. Alright, so that's all the bolts on anyway, just everything's tight. One thing I do know is that this isn't right. Slightly different than the one that I had. So I'm going to take this off because there's a hat here that goes on first. And then we have already got the same bracket, slightly different than that one, that goes on top of the hat. So let's just see, hopefully fingers crossed, and the old stuff matches up with this one. 19. Right. So you might wonder why I'm not using impacts here. I do have impact guns, make this life a bit easier, but I'm a bit sceptical of using it in old stuff because you can ring bolts very, very quickly. And for the sake of taking an extra 2 or 3 minutes to do it this way, I think it's worth it at times. Alright, that's off anyway. So I'm just going to clean the top of this here, but we're going to put our bolts back in for a second. They have to be fed down here. It's not going to be that terrible easy maybe. We do it a couple at a time. I think I'm right there. Oh, it's an awkward thing. But I've lost the other bolt. I left it there. I don't know where it went, so I want to spend the next half hour looking for that, and then we're going to get it popped together. Right, on. Now, let's hook up these pipes. So in case one of you is going to wonder how I remember what goes where, I don't. So I took loads of pictures of this job when I was doing it. So I'm looking at the picture here. But I didn't realise, I thought one of the pipes had white writing on it, but both of them do. One's a bit dirtier than the other one. This one looks newer. Yeah. All right, that might help me. All right, so I just put on tape here to keep anything crawling up into the pipe, any dirt out of it as well. Okay. Right, basically goes up here. There it is. One thing I realised from editing these videos is that I actually talk to myself quite a lot when I'm working. And I have to edit a lot of that stuff out because I come across it's a bit weird. But my dad used to talk to himself an awful lot too. Full-blown conversations, top of his voice. And like, he'd be arguing with himself, he'd be answering his own questions. And we used to go out and film him in the quiet and say, who are you talking to? But you know what? Now I'm doing it. Right, we're sucking diesel here. Right, so the last one didn't have this bike across here. It had it on one side, not the other. And the pipes were rubbing badly on this here. And it was tearing into the pipes quite a bit. You can see it there, it was rubbing into them. This one does have it, so that's a little upgrade. A rusty one, but it is an upgrade. Now this pin here is fighting me. I have battered this pin and I cannot get it to move. So obviously it did slide out to get this in, by the way, the passing marks on that. I just put that in to help hammer again it. But it is solid. And so I'm going to heat it up a bit. I'm going to clean off this whole thing here. I'm going to shine this pin back up again. And then I'm going to put loads of penetrating fluid into it and all around it. I'm going to just batter it. That's all we can do. Doing is taking off the roughness. I'm not taking any real material off. This is very, very hard material anyway because it's a bushing that's inside it. I'm just trying to take off this real roughness. Now this isn't the ideal way of doing this. I have a blowtorch which has put out far more heat than this thing and the proper torch, but I'm out of gas, so yeah. She's moving. Now I'm not hitting it too hard, I don't want to damage any teeth on the slew motor, so I'm not rapping as hard as you might think, but it moved. And that's all that matters. So I'll just tap it in. Another wee bit. There she is. I'll just leave it if we can get a ram in. Alright, so we're over here now at our back actor. And we have a bit of an issue with it. So this is all twisted out here on both sides. I'll have to let this ram down now in a second. I have to push this stick out. But I think there's a pin supposed to go through there. And it's supposed to lock through, is it here? I'll know more when I have it on. And it's supposed to kind of lock the whole thing in place. That's what I think it's supposed to do. Again, I should read the manual, but I'm just going to use my imagination first and then read it after. This is all pushed out here. That's all bent out, like, and that's some thick steel there, so it is. I'm going to take that stick out, I'm going to drop the ram down. I'm going to hammer it and see, can I bend it back a bit. Alright, don't take the fingers from me. Sit in there. So yeah, there's going to be a right bit of wrapping on this, and it probably won't come straight, but I'm going to try. Usually when you're doing a job, the best way to approach it is just think of someone you don't like. Get that person in your mind, and let's try straightening it. We're not bad. We're getting there. This side's a different story, but at least one of them's moving. So I just thought of someone else there. Maybe that'll work. You see, look, see? That goes through now, without any problems. So, do I need to keep battering away at this? I think it's alright. The thing to fix this correctly is heat. And I can always come back to it even when it's on the back of this. And because this one's actually, this is not bad. It's broken there a wee bit because I really didn't like that particular person. But I'll weld that too. I'll fix it up now with the welder. And she'll look alright. She'll be dead on and she'll be strong. And look, it goes through it, doesn't it? Not better. Back there. So I can see here that crack goes a wee bit further underneath the paint, so I'm going to grind that out even further and just opening up a hole because we want to fill that hole then with weld. We have to make place for the weld to go in. Then I can fill this here with weld, just grind it flat again, and that'll hold everything together. I can also fill any wee holes, things like that if I want. Right, so I've got the MIG welder out here. I was going to use a stick welder. It's fairly windy out here, but anyway, we're going to give it a go because we're kind of maybe in a sheltered enough wee spot here. So I want to see how this goes. Just going to wait for that wind to pass. So 2 winds just passed there. We're both feeling better, so let's do it now. So what I've done was I filled up these holes and I'm going to try to get them a wee bit more circular. Yeah, that'll be the right word. Well, the die grinder seems to be cutting out on me all the time. It's gone again. Handy wee tool, but I don't know why it's cutting out, unless this battery's dead as well. No, there it goes again. It's got full life. Full battery life. I'm going to fiddle that here with a file for a while and then we'll pick it up when I've edited it and make it look really pretty. Alright, so I end up spending probably way too long with this, but I got carried away, as you do, and end up getting them holes fairly circular. Just by welding, building it up, grinding it down with a die grinder that works sometimes. But we got it done and it's all fixed up and it's all reinforced there now. And then welds are not going to break, fingers crossed. It's all done there too, with that crack all fixed up. So I want to clean it down a wee bit here. I'm just going to put some primer over that, stop it from rusting. We will probably paint this eventually, but we're nowhere near that stage yet. We have to see will this thing ever dig before we go touching paint. Alright, now we're back here. It's the following day. And one thing I want to do isn't that. There's a couple of these holes and I can see, not sure if you can, but there is a hole the whole way through there and we're missing nipples. So I want to put a grease nipple in that if I have one. That's taking grease. Now you can see in there, you see the grease coming out? So here's another one here that's quite important. And you can see the way the grease is busted out to the sides because it's very, very windy here at the minute. Hope you guys can hear me. I'm using a mic. But I'm going to just take that one out and see is there something blocking it. Good thing is it looks relatively new. It's blocked. Look. See the way it's blocked? I'm just going to push this down with a scriber. And there it goes right through. Anyway, that's that. I think we can more or less get ready now to start putting both of them together. I'm going to tie up these pipes out of the way so they're not going to get caught in anything, and it's going to be tricky this. It's going to be far from simple to do this because this yoke likes to jerk. It's not smooth at all on the transmission. It would be great if there was two people here, but there's not, so I'm going to do my best to do what I can. I need to throw in some oil into this hydraulic oil because I know she's pretty much empty. You can see here it's very wet underneath, and the reason behind that is that pipe there is leaking just where it comes out of that filter. I put a big clamp on it there and I tightened it to the last, but it's still leaking, and I think that pipe itself is cracked. So I'll probably have to go and look and get a new one of these pipes. This is not leaking up here, but the other end, no matter what I've done, no matter how I tightened it, it's still leaking. But anyway, that's a job we can do the next time. Now we just need to get it moved, so just going to do what a lot of people do that own a 50B, and that is put oil in it. Okay. So, I'm very sceptical of what I'm about to do here, because now we have to move this slew motor over to line it up with this. It's going to be the first time this slew motor is going to move, and we'll find out very, very quickly if it's a good one or a bad one. Remember, it's been sitting probably a long time. Remember, this yoke hasn't been started since last July, or maybe even June. I can't remember the last video that was put up on this. So I'm not going to be a BSer or any of that. I'm not going to pretend that it's going to start very easily or not going to start. I haven't got up on this. Look, there's a board living in it. There's board sugar everywhere. So I don't know what it's going to do, but I will say one thing. I already remarked from the day I bought this that it's very easy to start. Unbelievable. One little tip of the key and away it goes. So it'll be interesting. We're about to find out. I've got a little switch underneath here. I'll put that to fun. We've got light now on the dash. Put in our stopper. And we have no heater on this yoke, so there's no point in trying it, but it's lovely and warm today. It's 22 degrees, so here goes. Brilliant. I'm going to try to use the front loader now to get this oil pumping. Tell you what, it lifts an incredible height. Alright, so here's the fun bit. Alright, they work. But it moves. It moves. She's noisy. But maybe that's just the oil starting to move around a bit. I don't know. She seems to be very noisy when we're going to the left. The right, my right, your left. That's loud. It's actually quicker going to that direction as well. Problem is I can't see what I'm doing. Move that slew motor over that way a wee bit. So we need to put these down to raise this ever so slightly. We are very close, look. I have to go down a bit. Over like here, what's happening? I need to come down on this side. I'm happy. That brings a smile to your face after all these months. Now, I do need to put a couple of spacers. These are not the right ones, alright? I have to get a couple of washers that does fit. Too big as well. They don't need to be so wide. So I'm just going to stick a bolt in here. That'll hold it in place for now. I want to keep this kind of central, so I don't want it going down the whole way because the washer can come up and go across it, like that. So I'm going to stick a couple of washers just here on this side. Or actually, if I have a nut, even better. See? They can move now, but they won't touch anything. Put 2 nuts in the end here as well. Okay, that's going to work for now. Right, so now that we have that done, it's just a matter of joining pipes back up again, and everything is marked here. So you remember when I was doing this, if you haven't, you can go and look back that video, it'll be marked at the end of this one. But I put cable ties on both sides, so I know green, green, blue, blue, and so on. But they're in a very, very awkward spot. And it takes a long, long time to do it. These are the blank caps that I put on here. I couldn't find blank caps for this, so I managed to get these here and just weld this shut. And that acted the same. So I need to take my time here now and do 1 pipe at a time. It's just going to be a very, very slow process. Alright, well, we have them all connected up. Next thing to do is start her up now, and hopefully she'll move, and we can move this ram here up and we can get into this place so we can lock it, hopefully through with this pin. Alright, she's in. Alright, just when we're here, can't help but look at it. Say to myself, I might be able to fix it easy, because these pins are as dry as a badger's backside. Just completely clogged. So the interesting part will be, will it go through? Yeah, once again, look at that stuff. Oh, there it is. It is working. Alright, so this is a different story. It's wrung off it. I don't even see a nut on it, so this might be a bit interesting. Different sort of thing completely. What the hell is that? Alright, so this is not what I thought it was. That should go in there. Taking a lot of grease. There it is. Lovely. Unreal the way that yoke starts up. I have a very squeaky seat here, it needs a bit of oil. Alright, where do we start? We are lifting. I just see something I have to grab. My scriber. Better not lose that or my metric teacher will give out stink. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's so much better. Look at the speed of it. Ah, that's so much better. Well, we've got a nasty oil leak I can see. Or is that water? But she's working. Oh man, that is awesome. That is awesome. Slew there. Slow down, slew there. Look at the speed of that. And there's no drift, and that's the big problem with a lot of these. is that they'll move on their own, and she's not moving. Granted, when I look at her now, she is dropping. Now that's a new one, but I think we have an issue with our ram more than anything, and this ram here in particular, we've got a nasty oil leak coming out of that one. It could be the pipe on the top. I know this part of it up here is leaking. Now I can see this ram here, it's not leaking, but it is letting it back ever so slightly. I know it's very, very minor, and it'll not do any harm, it'll not cause me any issues. We're only ticking over there, look at the speed of that. When I get used to it, I'll be digging holes. I haven't had much to smile about this last while. Well, that's made me smile, that's genuinely made me happy. It's so nice to get the thing running. It's far, far faster from slewing from side to side. Remember, we've done a full service on it as well. It's lifting up and down lovely and fast too. All the airlocks is more or less out of it, and I'm not actually fully engaging the lever to slew from side to side. I'm going a little bit slower, it can go faster, but it's up and down, and it's good. But we do have eye leaks. We'll talk about them in a second. I can see them clearly, but eye leaks can be fixed. Right, I'm going to bring it down to the shed below and park it in, and then we'll go through what we need to do, but I'm happy. I'm very happy. That is that job done. She's moving as she should. Now you can see the way that digger, just give you an idea. See the way she's sitting all to that side? And that's because that wheel is smaller than that wheel. I don't know why the tyres were put on that way, but it is. Just behind that wall, there are a set of tyres to be put on this, and we'll be putting them on the next video. And that'll make a great job on it, because them tyres, they are, well, that one's actually looks alright from here. But when you go around the far side, that tyre is all up in the middle, because it's been over pumped up to compensate for it being smaller, and it's all raised up in the middle. So, and it's like driving on a balloon, it's jumping up and down like that there. So a new set of tyres make a big difference to this. It's a bit of a pig to drive. That instant forward reverse is very, very jumpy. Maybe it's better when it heats up, I don't know, but it is quite jumpy. The brakes are very all of a sudden or nothing. I think one of the biggest problems is it just needs to be worked for a bit, because it's been laying up for so long. But it's now moving. I'm really happy with that slew motor. That has made a big difference there, and there's no oil on it at all, no leaks. So it is, just as they said, a good one. I'll say a big thanks again to John Condy Tractors for helping source all these bits and pieces, which are getting harder and harder to get. They have an online store. If you're looking for our bits and pieces for a tractor, new or old, whatever it is you're working on, you'll find that they have a large selection of stuff online or in store. If you're pricing around bits and pieces, make sure you add them to your list. So what's next for this machine? Well, we'll get the tyres on for starters. We do have a piece of glass, or two pieces of glass, to go in here to replace this ugly mess that you can't see out of. Two of the original pieces. A very kind subscriber, he came and met me the day I was picking that up, and he says, I was going to throw the glass out. If you want them, you're welcome to them. And that was a very, very kind thing to do. So they're in the shed. I hope I haven't broke them. They're still wrapped up the way you had them wrapped up. Hopefully we'll be fit to get them in there, and that'll make a big difference to the side of that. This ram here needs a lot of addressing. It needs to be repacked. It's leaking badly there, and I'd say that's what the whole leak is. Small leak there, just where that joins up. Could be just an O-ring. This one here is leaking, but not much. There's a wee hole right into the cylinder, and I'm not sure what that was for. And some of the oil could be coming from around that. We can seal that up with weld, but we will have to get that one looked at too. Obviously, this all needs to be tightened up too, new bushings and stuff. That's to be expected of a machine of this age. It's nice also to get this all bent back into shape, and first class paint job to go along with it. I might get the plasma cutter out, cut that whole face out of it, and weld a new one in. Make up new late brackets and stuff, and just tidy the face of it up so the boards can't get in and out of it, because they are going in and trying to nest in the roof of it. It also needs a lot of rewiring, which I enjoy. As you can see the dash now, it looks rough, but it's rough because I took all the parts off it to get a look in and see what it's like. But it needs to be completely gone through. None of this stuff works. And the wires are all corroded, the terminals are all corroded. But the switches are all working. I've tested those, so it's just a matter of running some new wires, cleaning everything up. It's just time consuming, but we will get it done. And we'll just keep going bit by bit. We'll get her into some sort of shape. I'm really glad to get that machine moved, because tomorrow I'm going to be taking in here behind me, and I'm going to be clearing out all of this silage pit, washing the whole thing down, washing the yard above, taking all the machinery away from it, ready for silage. But that's for another day. I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed it. It was 2 days of just messing with it, and it was so nice that it worked in the end. I hope you enjoyed watching it. See you in the next one.